toxic masculinity.
Even Bernie Sanders is not comfortable with Twitter banning Donald Trump. This is crazy. I can't believe Bernie Sanders has come out in support of Donald Trump. What world is this? Where am I? What? Okay, I never said I could sing. And my voice is a little bit messed up right now. But that's supposed to be the Twilight Zone theme song. All right. That was really bad. I'm sorry about that. Okay, Bernie Sanders not comfortable with Trump's Twitter ban. I love this. So, Senator Bernie Sanders, independent from Vermont, expressed reservations about the Twitter ban of former President Donald Trump, saying that he doesn't like the idea of, quote, a handful of high-tech people, end quote, wielding too much power. I don't know why that's the quote. Maybe you should have drawn it out a little bit further. It's from Epoch Times. Sanders made the remark in a wide-ranging interview with the New York Times in which Sanders was asked about Twitter banning Trump from its platform. Do I feel particularly comfortable with the then President of the United States? Okay, this guy doesn't know how to write. Tom Ozimek. You need to become a better writer. Do I feel particularly comfortable that the then President of the United States could not express his views on Twitter, ? I don't feel comfortable about that, Sanders said. Love that. Trump was kicked off the social media platform after the January 6th Capitol breach. The Twitter CEO, Jack Dempsey... No, there is no Twitter CEO named Jack Dempsey. There's a Twitter CEO named Jack Dorsey. Tom Ozimek, what are you doing, brother? It's pretty easy to figure out what the Twitter CEO's name is. That's just sad. I don't dislike you. I mean, you're writing for the Epoch Times. You must be a good guy, but you got to check your work, man. Or somebody at the Epoch Times dropped the ball here. With Twitter CEO Jack Dempsey defending the decision in a series of tweets a week later. I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to read this whole story. But what I am going to say is this kind of supports a theory that I have about Bernie Sanders, which I've had for a while now, because during the election, I went through and I did a deep dive research into all the candidates. And I especially did a deep dive into the prominent candidates like Bernie Sanders. And one thing I found about Bernie Sanders is that I don't think Bernie Sanders is actually a committed socialist, which a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy for that. But what I found was that Bernie Sanders, I think, found that when he was younger, like when he was in college, he discovered that like the socialist organizations, the far left organizations, were a great way of getting chicks. Because if you look at old pictures of Bernie Sanders, he's not a good-looking guy. You know, he's got that kind of weird Bernie Sanders way of doing stuff, and he's always been like that. He's always been a bit of a weird guy, like a little bit antisocial, like a little bit of a, maybe a problem. But he loves the ladies. He definitely likes women. And so it seems like Bernie Sanders has been, for his entire life, he recognized that he could get girls if he was a leftist. And then beyond that, he realized he could get power, he could get more popularity, he could make money by being a socialist politician. So I think for Bernie Sanders, being a socialist is all about personal gain. I don't think it comes from a place of principle at all. And I think a lot of the policy positions he has are not policy positions he would ever implement if he were actually like the president, right? I think that a lot of the way he speaks is bombastic rhetoric. I don't think he ever thought he would ever be president, and I think that he doesn't suspect that America would ever actually embrace socialist ideas. And so he can safely espouse socialist ideas, get a lot of attention from kind of like weird people, and become more popular himself personally without actually endangering the country and pulling it into a socialist nightmare. That's what I think of Bernie Sanders. I don't think that he is in any way a real socialist or a socialist in principle. I don't think so. I think that he's a self-interested, he's just selfish. He's just a selfish man. He doesn't really care about the country that much. He doesn't really care about policy. He doesn't really care about anybody. He just cares about Bernie Sanders making more money, being more popular. You know, he always says millionaires and billionaires are terrible, they're terrible, but now he's a millionaire, you know. Bernie Sanders cares about Bernie Sanders. That's it. That is it. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about anybody. He doesn't care about socialism. He doesn't care about Russia or Cuba. He doesn't care about any of that. He cares about being provocative, making a name for himself, getting power. And because think about it like this. Donald Trump in a Marxist system, any kind of Marxist system, censoring his speech would be fine. There is no First Amendment in the Soviet Union. There is no First Amendment in China. There is no First Amendment in Venezuela, in Cuba. There's no First Amendment in communist countries. So Bernie Sanders' whole position is like this socialist, insane nonsense utopia, which, you know, can't possibly exist. And now he's saying, but actually, it's a little bit disturbing. I mean, he's kind of exposing himself here a little bit, which is that he does probably to some degree recognize the value of the ideals of, you know, the American Republic. And so he is conflicted between his, you know, the illusion of what he says he believes, you know, this BS socialist nonsense, and the reality, which is that living in a free country, you have to have the First Amendment, and you have to have democracy. You have to have, you know, you have to live in something like democracy, a representative democracy, something like that. Yeah, socialism doesn't really work. He knows that. He knows that. He's a fraud, is what I'm trying to say. Bernie Sanders is a fraud. Okay, moving on. Next story. This is the last story of the day, ladies and gentlemen. I know we did quite a few today, but I wanted to go, there were a lot of great stories today. I wanted to cover them all. All right, so this one is, this is crazy. Okay, guys. Oakland, California is going to give families of color $500 a month. It says liberal city. This is Oakland, California. Liberal city to give low-income families of color $500 a month. Now, I don't know if you've been to Oakland or you know anything about Oakland. It's black people. Okay, it's not people of color. It's black people. That's it. Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.